So BTC's been relatively flat today, but we've just seen in the last couple of minutes, it looks like the Dixie might have rejected a little bit here, and some of these altcoins have started firing. So we've seen Link moving again, we've got Sol moving, we've got Render, and today, guys, we're looking at so many things, but some of these trades that we looked at yesterday absolutely ripped off. So we're going to look at Myro again today. We're looking at Render, we're looking at Sol, we're looking at Dog with Hat again because it's breaking a horizontal. I might have a setup for you on SNX. I might have a proxy play on Render for Fetch. So there's so much to talk about here, guys. And the S&P was dumping earlier, and that short of mine has started playing out. So we're going to take a look at that one as well. Let's get right into it. So I pulled up some banter bubbles here, and it's nice to see Link back in the game here, 8.5% up. We like it when Link pumps. It seems to do good things to the market, and Render's woken up on this Apple news with their AI situation. So Render's pumping. Maybe we're going to get a sympathy pump for some of these other AI tokens as well. So today I'm going to talk to you about Fetch. Then Tao that we spoke about yesterday. That thing is still absolutely ripping for us. So things are looking relatively okay out there. Let's take a look at what BTC is doing though. And at the moment, it's not really doing much, but it is unlocking these alts. So again, we're still watching BTC on the 4 hour. A big area for me is still this 43K level. You can see we've got the 50-day MA and this major horizontal now, and they're playing big games in this area. They try to fake us out yesterday. They pushed up a little bit, and it came back while we were sleeping again. But the alts survived. It wasn't nothing serious happened here for us. So levels again today that I'm watching for BTC. I'm tracking this rising trend right now. This is level number 1. So we're going to be looking at 42,200. Then we're looking at these lows here, 41,800. That sort of area is an area of interest for me. We lose that, things turn dark and dangerous again. We don't want to go there. What we want again, we want to push up, we want some support, and then we want to send BTC. And you know what? Dominance can pump and do all it wants to do. If BTC is pushing up like that, it will pull some of these alts up with it. So, you know, that is a nice situation for us. Otherwise, BTC can hang around like this, and these alts can just carry on firing. So let's see how that goes. Then a little bit of news here. Look, okay, this is old news. We know this is old news, but again, topical. I mean, this was on Twitter about 2 or 3 days ago. So these guys have only woken up now. CoinDesk with their weekly golden cross, but it is quite humorous that after we see a golden cross, especially on the 200-day and the 50-day, these coins tend to retrace and tend to pull back. So I don't want to take it out of the equation that they might want to come back and visit this 200-week MA as a possible test zone, and that does really take us back on the bigger picture stuff. This is the weekly to this 30,000 level, 30 to 31. So if they want to come back and retest that after that golden cross, which we see happens fairly often, we get a retracement after these events. That is a target we need to think about and need to be aware of. But again, it doesn't mean we have to be bearish on altcoins and all these things. There's always going to be altcoins somewhere that are popping off, but we need to understand the general mood of the market might be a downtrend on BTC, and it might mean we need to start TPing on some of these alts a little bit earlier and with a little bit lower targets, especially for the longest, you know, than we were looking at previously. So, you know, these trades that we're looking at here, again, looking at maybe slightly shorter moves and just grabbing these profits as and when they are gifted to us. Let's look at this Dixie. So I was just watching the newsroom a second ago, and just before we went live, a message came in the newsroom. Guys, for those of you that don't know what the newsroom is, get onto Banter Bubbles. You should have access to the newsroom there. It's all the researchers and everyone from Banter dropping all their alpha in these sections. So a note came out in the newsroom that the Dixie was dumping. I'm assuming whoever posted it was watching lower time frame candles, but we noticed that Dixie rejection there, and immediately these altcoins started firing. So a tiny little rejection here on the Dixie, but again, my big zone for a Dixie rejection that I am looking for is a little bit higher. I'm looking at 104 at the moment for the Dixie on the 382. So I am looking at that. Obviously, it can move down here. That would be lovely for all the markets and things like that. The S&P will pump. My short will get absolutely wrecked. But as long as the Dixie is pumping up into this 104 region, for me, I'm going to keep holding that S&P short. So we'll keep our eyes on the Dixie. You can see there was a slight little rejection if you did zoom in. Let's look at the S&P. And look, it gapped down nicely today. So this little short now that I opened the other day on the S&P, this is now in play. We had a nice little gap down on the daily, and my target is now in play. So 4.6 is where it's at for me. That is what I'm looking for at the moment. And here's the little position. I took out 4 S&Ps at 4,700 each. And that's the position. Let's see if we get to that 4.6. It might give me a little bit of lunch money there. We'll see how that plays out. And yeah, I'm still sitting in this oil long. This was my last oil long of a few that I had at the time. And we'll just leave this one. We'll see how that plays out. Right. Okay, let's go. ETH. Let's take a look here. This is ETH BTC again, giving us signs that ETH BTC. There's ETH strength here versus Bitcoin. You've probably seen this chart 15 million times this week, but I'm just going to show you one more time. Here we go. So ETH breaking trend again, BTC again, showing us that some of the weighting might be moving into ETH, moving into some of these altcoins, and just giving us a little bit of fun. So yeah, a bit of a fun line for us that we're watching. Support once again, 0.058 is an area we're watching. So if we pull back, we don't really want to dip much lower than that. We're going to see ETH strength anywhere down there. We're going to enjoy that. We're going to have some fun with it. So let's take a look at ETH right now. This is ETH on the 4-hour. And we pulled this one up yesterday. It was looking quite good. We had ETH breaking a little 4-hour horizontal, which we looked at. But again, bigger picture firstly for ETH is what I'm looking at here. If we do get some big kind of flush out, again, this hasn't changed for me. My best entry here, 2,380 to 2,4 is still my preferred ETH entry. And then lower down, guys, we've got 2,100 down to 2,140, that sort of region is still my preferred ETH entry for longs. But we can't deny that if you zoom in a little bit on the 4-hour, ETH has given us a little bit of an SR flip. And if this market's going to turn a little bit bullish here, this little region here is your little launch pad for ETH. So this was our area we were watching closely yesterday. This is the one we said we could get some kind of action here from ETH. So let's see, watch this level now, 2,530. Let's see if it holds this level. If it does hold this level, we're going to see some fun. We're going to see some good moves here. We'll be looking at around about 2.7 again. Just a test of that area is going to be nice for me. So let's see how we go. A little SR flip for now. We have had a little bit of a reaction. And again, let's see if this market is going to play out for us. Okay, before we get into some of the juice here and recap some of these trades, I am running a poll in the back there. Guys, in the chats, there is a poll there in the chats. I want to know, okay, so we know there's a bit of momentum here with Sol and things like that, but you have $10,000 right now. Where are you sticking it? And you can only choose those 4 that I gave you in the poll. I don't want to hear other shit coins on the Sol network. I've got Ray checking out the poll for me in the back, so he's going to update us shortly. But please, fill in that poll. I want to see where you guys want to put your money. Are you absolute degens buying these meme coins back based on the Sol news, or are you like more civilized, just buying Sol, for like a 20 or a 30% move? So I want to know where you guys are putting it. So please drop that in the chats. Candy keeps saying Analos. No, Analos smashed us. That thing was horrible. I won't be buying that one again. So guys, keep it to the ones in the poll. And we're gonna be talking about those shortly now, because I've got a couple of Sol plays for you guys, because there's more news on Sol. And we are just gonna run when like Uncle Run says, when the music's playing, we got to keep on dancing. So we're gonna dance on Solana and Friends shortly. Here's a little update. Tao, this is the trade we gave you guys yesterday. Nice little move and just a classic reaction and rejection here at TP1. So hopefully some of you guys took that trade yesterday. I mean, I did post it all over the place, including the show, as well as Twitter. So guys, let me know in the chats here who got this move. We are now at TP1. So the first move is now done. Bigger picture. And this isn't being too sort of hopeful as to where this thing will go, but it's a 42% move that I was looking at. Some of the guys I'm talking to are talking much bigger things. They want to see this thing go to 400. But like I mentioned now, before we kicked off here, let's work on areas where we can grab profits, where it gifts us these profits and take it. Because right now we don't know what the next Bitcoin catalyst is, what's going to pump BTC and what's going to really drive this market up. So, until we know for sure what that next play is, I'm looking personally just to take profits at nice little areas here and see how we go. Again, if things really start blowing up, we can always grab those entries on the 15 minutes. We can get those breakouts and things like that. But right now, for me, it's about taking profits at the right time and at the right areas. And these are the two areas that I've earmarked here for 𝗬𝗦. So this was our first one, 280 to 285 looks like. And then the upside here, we got 320 to 330. That is my next big area that I'm watching. Let's see what else we got here. Modfire said he just got wrecked shorting WIF. Guys, you know better than to start shorting these meme coins. This is where they catch you guys every time, and this is where these things absolutely pump. But we're going to look at this one, and I'm going to talk to you about it. And there's a little trick in 𝗪𝗧𝗢𝗓 that I'm going to show you guys as well if you stick around. I'm going to show you how to track a couple of things there in 𝗪𝗧𝗓𝗓. Okay, so let's look at the SOL news. So yesterday, there was news on the new SOL phone, and then we were looking at possible meme coins they were going to stick onto the new SOL phone. Obviously, it makes sense. They put bonk on there last time, and maybe they're going to bonk it again. But where else could they go? And we were talking WIF, and we were talking Myro, and we were talking bonk. But now what we can see here is this Jupiter token launch. This was an airdrop, and the token's coming out. And what this is telling me is that we're going to have some more money in the Solana ecosystem, and that should technically make us bullish on the SOL play, as well as SOL and friends. And where do degens go that got these airdrops? They don't go to I don't know. Well, maybe they go to proper projects, but I know the degens like these WIFs and these Myros and all these sorts of Solana meme coins that they want to go to, and that's why I put that in the poll. So I want to hear your thoughts. But for me, bullish on SOL currently and the ecosystem, and I would be, if I were you, bullish on some of these SOL meme coins based on the fact that there might be a lot of money dropping into the SOL ecosystem. And if that's going to play out, where's the first thing you go to? Well, the first thing I've gone to is SOL. So I've opened up a SOL position here. This is SOL on the 8-hour. We've got a trend break, and I've opened a SOL position here on my Prime XBT. This is the futures trading that they offer now on Prime XBT. So remember, they offer the global markets, which is the gold and silver and all these things that you see me trading. And now they've had it for a while, but now they've got an improved futures system here for these altcoins. You can do isolated and you can do cross positions. So as you can see, here I am yesterday's trade. I opened 200 AVAX. I have added to that AVAX position. I now have 250. I'm still long 1 BTC off that dump yesterday, and I've opened up a starter position here on SOL. I've opened up 75 SOL as a long, and I'm playing this setup. So this is what I'm looking at the moment. And we're going to see what happens now and see if this plays out. If the market's going to stay bullish and we're going to be bullish on SOL. I'm looking for a couple of targets here. I'm looking at 108. I'm looking at 115. And I'm looking at upside here, 123. Now, again, I'd be quite satisfied if we can get SOL even up to 116. I think that would be a nice little trade. But to the top here is about a 25% move that we're looking at. So that is my current SOL play. And again, it's based on this news that we're seeing out there. And it's also based on the fact that BTC might behave for another week or two. And if it does, and it doesn't want to kill us and send us back to that golden cross that everyone is so bullish about, then we might get this final little move on SOL. And again, I don't want to aim much higher than this area. I just want to take what this market's going to give me, and we'd be thankful. We've had a good couple of weeks here, and maybe it is time for things to settle down. But if they're giving us trend breaks on the 8-hour and things are turning a little bit bullish, I'm going to have a go, and we're going to have a little look. So again, exit ideas and exit options depends how much leverage you trade, depends if you trade spot, all these types of things. But for me, it's an exit for me on the SOL trade. If we get a candle close under 95.8, we get a candle close under there, I'm bailing. Another option here, you can look at these other lows, an exit under 93 or 92.5. That could be an exit zone. And then lower down, you've got the 50-day MA and some other horizontals that you can play around with. So that is a nice little sol play for you guys. And then again, sol's bullish. Where do we go? We go to 𝗲𝗏. So just to recap, and again, not to say I told you so, but fuck me. I mean, this thing 𝗲𝗏 came down yesterday onto the 618, onto this trend when we were live yesterday on the show. And we were saying this looks like a nice little juicy area here for a 𝗲𝗏 bounce. And they obliged. I mean, so far, we've got a 𝗲𝗏 move here. Yesterday, if you grab this like simple play, horizontal 618 and trend, we had 3 reasons why it could potentially bounce here. And right now, they've given us 81% since we spoke about this yesterday as a potential trade. And look at the perfection here. Look how this thing hits this trend line and then absolutely took off. So that was a nice one. But what we need to understand now is that this is at resistance. Okay. And there was an interesting comment in the chats now when we started the show saying they just got wrecked shorting. I think it was 𝗲𝗏 or WIF. And now you'll see these two are playing the same. They're playing the same right now. There's a lot of shorters teeing up here. And remember what happens when we get too many shorters teeing up here. Their stop losses are sitting a little bit just above these little highs. You know, they've got these stops. And if the buyers come in and things turn super bullish, the only way to exit your short position is to buy it back at a higher price. And that is why we get these squeezes. And that is why you'll see these meme coins sometimes rip and they don't stop ripping. And you get these like massive moves out of these coins. So I'm expecting nothing different here. If this market stays relatively bullish here and sol starts moving, I think whoever's trying to short this thing is going to potentially get squeezed out. So if you are looking at shorting, again, I'm not telling you not to short it because we're looking at a resistance area. But if you're asking me, would I short this thing now? Not a chance when things are turning hot like this. So I would rather stay away. I would rather look for a long and some kind of pullback if we get it. So I'm steering away from any types of shorts here. I'm just holding a little bit of spot of these guys and we want to see how they go. And again, resistance area, if we do get a squeeze, this is what we expect to happen. It's going to pop up pretty fast, I would say. And the real test is when it comes back and we want to see if buyers are going to step in at this horizontal. So that is the key real test here on any pullbacks, if we're going to get some support there on that horizontal. And then the next move is in play. And then we just play the game. You know, we play the game level by level and we keep going. And remember, this will then become a nice little support zone for us and to grab some buys. Okay, let's see what else is here. PJ Fox says bonk on the phone. I don't know. I think maybe they're going to give us a mix on the phone. You know, that bonk really, it worked really well. But I mean, you can see there's so much hype in some of these other tokens here. Can says he's aped into 𝗲𝗏. He's loving that one. Let's see what else we got. I wonder what problem it solves on the network. No, there's a fundamentals chat here going on here between Mickey and someone else. Daniel Dillinger says, is TRB dead? I just know TRB, a little bit of FUD around it, a little bit of dodgy behavior. They came in and they market sold like a massive amount, a little bit sneaky, I think, and some guys got wrecked there. So I think TRB, people are a little bit suspicious of the moment. Not that it's not a good project or whatever the story is. Fundamentally, I don't know, but just from what I've heard, they didn't do some very nice things there, and the price went from like 620 to about 120 in a matter of minutes. So it wasn't a good look. Luba says she got her 𝗲𝗏 yesterday. Well done, well done. Daniel's got a beam break there. Let's see what else you guys are talking about. Jacob went long Grok. Okay, we were actually looking at Grok in Sniper Club a little bit earlier as well. It was pushing into a daily resistance area, but there was a potential setup bring on Grok, so not the worst thing. There's questions here for Rune. Yeah, if there's time, we're going to smash Rune. And SV Trader wants to know about Link. Of course, I've got a Link update for you. But first, let's look at the dog with a hat. Okay, and you can see it's the same look as this 𝗲𝗏 token. And yesterday, what did we talk about yesterday? Again, horizontal 618 coming into play. It was just a perfection bounce here off the 618, and we got a 48% move so far on dog with hat. So well done. If you were brave enough to buy a meme coin on a good support area, well, you've been rewarded now for that move. So well played on that one. And again, it's looking the same as this 𝗲𝗏, and we're going to treat it the same. So I would be very careful if you want to try to start looking for shorts here. I would steer away personally. Not really my thing to try and short a meme coin that's got momentum. I would stay away from that. What you want to do, bulls, if you don't have an entry, well, number one, you know that if you are buying it here, you are buying it into resistance. Okay, so number one, that is quite dangerous, because if it does reject, you know what's coming, probably a 40 or 50% move down there. So what I suggest, again, and you can dial in on different time frames and look for these supports to form, but really what you want to see is potentially a little squeeze up again. Same story as Myro. Let's see if this pullback holds. We want to see if this is going to hold a support and these buyers are going to step in. That's the real test when it does come back a little bit. That is the test to see if there's interest at these levels. Are they going to go for it? And if they do, you know, that's where these trades kick in, and that's where we get our best entries. So just be a little bit patient here. And if you need to, dial in on lower time frames. You can see if there's some kind of support, and you can start laddering into a potential position there, and you can always grow it. Remember, these things move so fast, these meme coins. They give you 30%, 40%, 50%. So you can start with a small position. You don't need to go in massive size or massive leverage. What I really suggest is no leverage, or pretty much 2 or 3x at best on these type of things, and just start small. And once you get momentum, you can start aping into these things, but just give it some time. Okay, let's see. Javier, underwater on a Rune long, would love some TA. Javier, I've got you, bro. Rune is solid. Rune is in a solid area. So if this market's going to absolutely shit itself, there's nothing we can do. But Rune is in a good area, and I've got it here. I had it here. If we've got time, I'm going to look at Rune for you. But right now, it is in a decent zone. So just hang in there. You should be okay. Okay, let's look at, okay, so let's do one more meme coin, Bonk, because Bonk hasn't been performing. And you can see, guys, where's the interest right now? The interest is in WIF and it's in Myro. They're not interested in Bonk, and you can see it showing in the charts here. Bonk is just melting down here on the 8 hour. Again, my hopes and dreams have been crushed for a Bonk breakout. We had a nice little trend line there. We had a lot going on, and the interest really, Solana right now, Myro, WIF, and it's no Bonk. But again, doesn't mean Bonk is over. It just means right now they are switching out or doing whatever they're doing to buy these other hot memes. So what I can say to you, Bonk traders, again, we've lost the 50-day AMA. First area of interest here for Bonk that you want to look out for, maybe a reaction, anything from 0.128 down to about 0.122. Anywhere in this region should give us some kind of reaction here for Bonk. So if you are sitting in it, or you're looking for Bonk entries, that is probably a sexy little zone here of interest for me. And again, simple game that you can play with Bonk. You can bang out a little trend, and if you're unsure where this thing's going to turn, because remember, at some point these things always do bounce, and there's some kind of recovery bounce, even if it's like a dead cat bounce or something along those lines, and they do break their trends. So just pull in a trend on Bonk and keep it on your watch list. And when it's ready, it's going to give you that. And it's going to give us that opportunity. And maybe if we get lucky, we'll get on the show and we'll play the trend break game on Bonk. So just be a little bit patient with it. But right now, the interest does seem to be in some of these other areas. Let's see. Yeah, Lisa says Bonk will surge later in the run. You're probably right. I mean, I still think Bonk is going to be a big player in a bull run. I think it's gonna do its thing. So don't give up on Bonk. But you know what the guys like. The guys like a bit of hype and all these things. Okay, let's see other questions. Vishal wants to know about 𝗬𝗢𝗓. We did give an 𝗬𝗢𝗓 signal in Sniper Club earlier as well. Let's go to Render. Okay, so news on Render, AI stuff, AI things. Render, Apple. So, you know, Render started doing its thing today, and yeah, started getting some buys and a little bit lower down. But as you can see, what's happened here with Render on the 8 hour, things are looking quite nice. Okay, and especially with this bullish news and momentum, people do like to buy Render. We know Render likes to move. What I want to suggest here for the traders, okay, 50-day MA, you can see this is pushing across nicely here on Render, and we've also got this 382 support, and we've got some backing here with some horizontals, so we need to look at that as a potential support area. So what I want to suggest here, Render guys, anything down to about 4 looks like a decent support area here, quite a bullish support region and a bullish bounce zone, and then a strong area for the Render traders. Horizontal, tied in with 618, and a trend here. You're looking at about 3.92, 3.93. This is your next Render strong zone. So keep an eye on these two areas, but you can see Render it's part of the news, Apple, all these types of things, and it could be one to watch now. But you can see why it's rejecting here. It's got horizontal resistance that you can see in play in this region. So just keep your eyes on that. Once we start blowing through there, the next target, the next target should be 5 relatively quickly. So let's see how that goes. Okay, what else we got? Ray, when you're ready, I want to hear about, I want to hear how that poll's going. There's guys in the chats talking about DYDX. Yes, DYDX is the one. How are we on that poll there, Ray?
I mean, the poll is going okay, but I'm trying to understand what's going on with the likes. We smashed that like button,
guys. If Ray tells you to like something, I mean, he's got that look about him. You need to like stuff. I mean, or maybe they don't like setups. Maybe they don't like 50% moves. I don't know.
Or 80% moves. I don't know. Maybe we should stop.
So where are we on that poll there, Ray?
53% for Solana.
53% Solana. The rest are degens. Okay, confirmed. 47% degens in the house here. Literally, you have 10K where you want to spend it. You're buying a dog with a hat. You're buying Myra the dog, both with no utility. How are you going to explain that to your grandkids that you did that? Hey? And you didn't buy Solana, the future of crypto. Okay, well, let's see how we go. Hopefully, these whiffs and these Myros all start pumping. Daniel says DYDX has a massive token unlock coming soon. Look, DYDX always seems to have a massive token unlock coming. I mean, it never seems to end with these guys. There was another big one a couple of months ago as well. And look, it seems like they've shaken that off. So I've got a DYDX chart. We're going to talk to you about that shortly. Here's a little AI proxy play on the render news. It's Fetch. This was a signal given in the Снайпер Club. There were two entries on this one, and the first one was on a 382 pullback, which has failed. Okay, it was over here. So this was a 2 entry zone area. The 382 was in this region where we got it. So I got my first entry there in that box. Then I got my next entry at the 618 and 50-day MA. And remember, Fetch has also had some good news. They launched their mainnet and all sorts of things. There's a lot happening on this Fetch project currently, and might be a nice little mover. So I'm sitting in 2bit actually. So 2bit is our other exchange that we use. And again, trades a little bit like MEXC. And here's my Fetch position. So I grabbed at the 382, I grabbed at that 618, and I'm just sitting in this Fetch at the moment. So yeah, let's see how it goes. Again, 2bit is it's a new exchange that I've been using. Not a bad experience so far. Trades like some of the other guys, and there is a link in the description. There is a special offer, limited offer in the description if you want to get onto 2bit. There's all sorts of sign up bonuses and things going on there, and the same story with Prime XBT. Remember, these guys are offering also sign up bonuses up to 7% of what you are depositing into your account. So both of these exchanges are hot, and there are decent offers on the table there for you guys. Right, DYDX. Is it going to kill me again, this thing? So the first couple of times I traded DYDX, I said to you guys on the show, they must carry me out on a stretcher. And they didn't quite carry me out on the stretcher, but that flush in the dead of the night, I think I was at a party or something, and I set my stop, and they came and they flushed me out and they sent it back. Okay, and that, like, it actually hurt my feelings quite a bit. And, then they gave us another opportunity not so long ago. They gave us the 200-day, they gave us the fibs, they gave us the horizontals, and I grabbed my entry there. We've now ridden it up. Wonderful, lovely. I've now exited DYDX under this region. But today on Снайпер Club, I took another long on DYDX. Now, hopefully, this thing isn't going to wreck me again, because my exit is under this 50-day MA and horizontal support. So if we start closing under this area at 2.9, if we start closing under 2.9 for DYDX, I'm going to get stopped out on that position. But what I'm looking for here for DYDX, and this was a starter position that I've now opened, hopefully it can grow into something bigger, but I just like the idea that we've broken the 50-day MA, and if this market is going to give us something, that's going to be my support that I'm watching. But what we're looking for again, bulls, we want to see this break. Okay, we want to see this little retest anywhere back onto some horizontals, maybe the 50-day MA as a little retest. But that is our bullish play here for DYDX. So a simple play here. You can either wait for trade options here. You can either wait for this to break and then buy the retest. I got a little bit carried away there. I just bought it when we popped that 50-day MA. I thought, no, this thing's going to sort me out again. So So Justin says 𝗣𝗥𝗬𝗓𝗔 rinse again. Let's see how we go on 𝗣𝗥𝗬𝗓𝗔. Look, they paid me nicely on this last one. So let's see. We'll go again. If this area holds, this is going to be a nice little mover. So targets for 𝗣𝗥𝗬𝗓𝗔 again. If we start moving up, your first area, right? We need to break this trend. So 3.06, that sort of region. Then your next big area that you're looking at for a TP, 3.4. That's another nice area. And then big area, yeah, at 4. But let's go baby steps. Okay, so let's call it 3.4. Okay, that's what we're going to look for here. And we reassess. Okay, we reassess. Once we get to that area, we relook at things and see how we go. Okay, yeah, Lisa K says, just like my cash journey. Remember that cash journey? Cash used to hit me around. It used to slap me around, and then I eventually showed it who's boss. So that's cool. And then you know what happened the other day? I opened that cash put option on Coincall that I said was going to go down to what, 0.09 by the 26th of January. So that is still in play. We'll do an update on that one tomorrow. We'll see how that one's playing out. Let's see what else we got. Sui, questions for Sui. I see 𝗬𝗢𝗓𝗓 not enjoying Filecoin. He says it's going to divorce him. AVAX update. Lloyd, I've got an AVAX update for you. That's no problem. Let's look. Here's AVAX. Okay, so here we are. So AVAX, no changes here. It's still sitting in the entry box. This thing can go one of two ways, right? We got a nice juicy little entry box here and quite clearly defined levels. And again, we're kind of sitting waiting for BTC to do something. I mean, this is the 4 hour. Look at this tight range here on this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I mean, I can't even count this many, but there's so many candles here on this tight range. And right now, again, this market, it's anyone's guess what they're going to do. But one of the directions first, I suspect, is going to be the wrong way. So if they do send us lower, I would expect them to send us back up. And if they do pump us, we need to be careful that it's not some kind of trap to grab these longs. So I am watching this because those of you in Sniper Club, you've seen my charts. I do have a bearish setup at the moment playing out for AVAX. So the bullish setup right now is this trend break and the bounce from the 618. But the bearish setup that I'm watching, that I'm a little bit concerned about, is this over here. We've got a head and shoulders, okay, at the moment, and it's playing out on the 4 hour and the 8 hour. Potentially bearish with targets a lot lower down. We're looking at around 30 for the bearish target. Okay, so if we break down here and we start closing under this region, my target for this head and shoulders round about 30 to 31. But right now, as you can see, I'm long AVAX in this entry box. I liked it because we had this we had the 618, we had these horizontals, and we had ETH breaking BTC trends, and our altcoin season marker. I mean, this market says to us it's altcoin season, so let's play with these altcoins. So that is the angle here at the moment. We're gonna see how this goes, but again, remember, bears, there is a potential head and shoulders here playing out to lower levels. Okay, what else? Lyconomics from Darth Cannabis says Lyconomics. Rudy says bonk. Rudy, we've covered bonk. It's looking a bit sad compared to some of these others. Okay, let's go 𝗪𝗡𝗓. Okay, here's a signal we gave today. Well, it didn't quite ping. This is the problem. So the signal, I dropped it in our signals because I was expecting this AR to dip lower. And after I dropped it, it actually just started reversing in the Sniper Club. And right now, this is my trade setup for 𝗪𝗡𝗓. So I'm waiting patiently for two options here. There's actually 3 ways you can trade this thing. First option, little move into this box, 618. Okay. Trend horizontal. Okay, that's option 1. That is that's a 618 play here, looking at a stop under a close of 9.48. So your entry is going to be anything from 9.64 down to about 9.52. That's a potential entry zone. And again, nice little tight stop. If you want to play that game, your risk, if you grab it somewhere in the middle, your risk is like 1 to 1.5% here on AR. Then next option, if it loses that area, you can either then get stopped out on a 1% risk, or you can look for a bounce and buy and add to your position at the 786 horizontal and 50-day MA. Now we know how this 50-day MA plays out for these altcoins a lot of the time. We often get a good reaction from them. So I quite like this area here, the 786, the 50-day MA. We also have some horizontal tie in here. So this is an area of interest to me on AR. So second entry box, anything from about 9.3 down to about 9.17. And again, that gives you a nice tight little stop as well. So if you want to play that second area, also about 1.5%. And then spot buyers, well, what you can do is you can take your entry in the first box. If it drops lower, you can take your entry in the third box. And if you get a close under that 50-day MA and those horizontals, you can look to start cutting your position. Now, the advantages of a spot trader is that your risk is going to be 4 or 5% for the whole move. But if you're a leverage trader and you're trading 5x or 10x, a 1.5% stop is going to translate into a 15% loss. Or if you're trading 5x, you're looking at 7.5% loss. So again, spot traders, low leverage, it depends how you want to play it. But these are your options if you are bullish on AR. Let's see. Ben's still asking about 𝗢𝗢. Guys, I own a bag of 𝗢𝗢. 𝗢𝗢 is my play. 𝗢𝗢 is my Chinese New Year play along with CFX, which is actually really doing nicely at the moment. If we've got time, I'll do a little update. Next setup I've got for you, potential setup that I'm looking at here. Okay, SNX. Okay, so this is how I'd like to see SNX play out. This is a bullish type of setup for me. So what I want to see here on SNX, little pullback again, little double bottom onto the 618. The reason I like this area, you can see we've got nice horizontals here on the 4 hour. I've got a nice little bounce here on the 618 as well. And this area to me looks nice. If we do get a little move here, we might be given an opportunity to nibble at a small position. Okay, it doesn't have to be a big one. You can nibble at a little position, and quite an easy play. If we get this pump and we start breaking trend, you can add to that position. And then your first target is going to be the 200-day MA at around about 3.8. So if we do get this little move, look for a nibble here, 3.45, see what happens. If we do lose this area, simple play again, we're looking at a candle close under that region. Then we start looking at these lows. We start looking at these horizontals. This becomes interesting to us, and we're going to play this trend all the way down, and we'll see how this goes. At some point, again, this thing turns bullish. We break the trend, and we push on higher. So that is a little plan there for SNX. So look for something around 3.45. If you get that, could give you a little bounce. And then, was there a potential? Yes, there was an X printed on Lux Algo as well on the 4 hour on that area. So again, another reason of why it's interesting to me. And then to top that off, I've also got Easy Algo. Now, Easy Algo is looking at it slightly differently. I'm going to show you why. This is Easy Algo on the 4 hour. And remember, with Easy Algo, we like to look at the token reclaiming daily pivots, weekly pivots, monthly pivots, and things like that. And I showed Seth, the developer of Easy Algo, this setup, and he said, look, he likes it on the condition that it closes above the daily pivot. Now, what you can see here is the daily pivot is the yellow lines, the yellow stripes in that area. So this would suit all trend break traders. So if we get this little bounce here, that's one thing, we can nibble down there. But once this thing pumps up and we get that retest and it closes above this daily pivot, then for Seth and his indicator, then this trade is potentially on. So what you want to see is this thing to come up and bounce, then close somewhere above that area over there, and then the Easy Algo is going to trigger that there's a potential long in play there. So that is one of the setups that we've got there from Seth, and I do have one more actually. Perp. This is Perp on the 4 hour. So this is Easy Algo again. What we want to do is we want to see this close above the daily pivot. So you can see some of these guys are playing. Sorry, this is a weekly pivot. You can see some of these guys are playing on the weekly pivot. So right now, what we want to see is the reaction that we get in this region down here at 1.34. We want to see what type of reaction we get in this region. You can see over here, we've also got a daily pivot over there. So if we do get this bounce in this area, there is a potential entry at these lows. Let's see how this plays up. Once we break through that daily pivot, then this thing you can add to that position, and then we can really send that thing. So right now, eyes on this weekly pivot. We want to see how it reacts in this area, and then we're going to play that one accordingly. Okay, let's get out. Rune and Link. Okay, Link. Here's a Link update. We looked at this trade yesterday. Hopefully some of you guys took this one. This was a typical flush out they try to give us here. 50-day MA, 382 trend as well. Here was your entry, guys. So let me know if you got this link. Hits our TP. Okay, so right now it's looking okay. It hit our TP at 16. And what we're looking at now, little zone here. So this is a little area of interest we need to pay attention to. So let's just mark this one. Let's just mark this one green here. Keep our eyes on this. Okay, what we want to see, again, bulls, if you didn't get that entry yesterday, you need to be a little bit more patient. We want to see consolidation here, some kind of support in that area, and see how they go. So just be a little bit patient here. Let's look for some kind of flag or consolidation. But once we have a nice confirmation of support around about 16, that's going to open up our 17.5 there for Link as a target. So eyes on that guy. Support 16, target 17.5 is what I'm looking at. And then I've got Rune. Okay, just want to pull up the right one here. I've got 500 Rune setups here. Let's go. Okay, so yeah, this is what I was saying earlier. There was questions in the chat about Rune. Javier, he was underwater there on Rune. Javier, I wouldn't stress too much. Okay, these are your levels. I don't know your leverage. I don't know how you're playing it. I don't know what your trade looks like there. But what I can give you is support areas for Rune. Okay, this is a big zone. This is a 0.5 fib. It's tied in with horizontals. It is a big area. We've got the 100-day moving average also pushing up here. Now remember, the 200-day, the 100-day, the 50-day all give us quite a nice little reaction on these altcoins. Obviously, it doesn't guarantee that they pump off immediately off these things, but we do know we often get a reaction. It acts as support in these areas, and sometimes it can hold these altcoins in these regions, and then when the time is right and the BTC turns bullish again, or the market turns bullish, then they take off nicely from these type of areas. So what I would suggest here, 4.4 is where you're watching Rune. So 4.4 on the daily, that is a zone of interest. If you lose 4.4, then no doubt they're going to want to send us lower, and you're looking at the 618, 3.7 to 3.8, and then your 200-day MA. By the time we get here, okay, this market is bearish, very bearish. But by the time we get to that 200-day MA, you're probably going to be seeing me on the show talking about don't feel bearish, these are good entries, etc., etc. Okay, so if they do give us this move to 2.9 or 3.1, that sort of area, don't stress about it. We're going to get some kind of entry there. So again, just to clarify here, Rune 4.4, I like. We lose that. 3.7 to 3.8, and then your 200-day round about 3. But remember, by the time these altcoins come to this 200-day, we're going to be finding you guys. Some entries there. So yeah, nothing to stress about too much. A little recap here on BTC. Let's just look at our 4-hour quickly. Okay, so drifting a little bit lower again. Traders, BTC traders here, look out. Okay, we're watching this trend. Okay, so this was this 42,200. You can look at maybe a test of these lows, and then watch 41,700 to 41,800 potential area. If they're sending us 40,700, 40,800, we're going to feel it. Okay, we're going to feel it on these altcoins. We're going to get stopped out. We're going to get slapped around. Okay, so we need to just understand where we're going. And if we hit this area here at 40,600 to 40,800, make sure you know where your next corresponding level is on your various altcoins. So remember, if they drop to that level, these alts are going to lose their current supports, and we're going to be looking lower. Okay, so we've run out of time, guys. That was fun. Obviously, as usual, 5,000 tokens. Again, be safe out there. The market's very sort of undecided at the moment. You know, I'm leaning towards some kind of push, but they really got to give it to us now. We've seen things like AVAX sitting around for so many candles. And, you know, the longer these things sit in these tight ranges, the more dangerous it becomes, because they like to flush out both ways. Look out for a false move, that sort of thing. And yeah, in 24 hours, I'll be back. We'll be doing this all over again. And we're either going to be screaming and celebrating all these TPs that we hit, or we're going to be looking lower levels, possible entries, and possible setups that the market's going to give us. So play safe out there. We'll see you guys tomorrow.